please do me a favor and write off Tom Brady and the Bucs. Do it. Let's go. This is Tampa 2 Drew. All right. I know I haven't made much content on this channel as of lately, but I've been extremely busy. You should definitely follow me on my main channel, Trust the Process 369. I'll put a link in the description to that channel. I really don't talk too much sports on there, but I've been vlogging a lot, and I've just been extremely busy. But I wanted to get into this discussion and talk about Tom Brady when he is expected to do well versus Tom Brady and other athletes like him, right? Whether it's Michael Jordan, whoever, right? When you underestimate them. And today I saw that the Bucs signed Le'Veon Bell. I could get into a discussion about that. I really think they signed him obviously due to injuries. But I decided, I'm going to hold off on talking about that because, to be real, even though I was a bit excited that we picked him up, I don't know what's going to happen with that, right? We don't really know what to expect from Le'Veon Bell. We hope for the best, but you know how that goes. What I wanted to talk about is Tom Brady and the rest of the team for that matter. Up until this past week, right, against the Saints, I kept hearing MVP talk when it comes to Tom Brady, right? Oh, Tom Brady, he's going to win the MVP. Even just prior to this game, it was up between really him and Aaron Rodgers, that kind of talk. And it was like, Tom Brady, he's the MVP, he's the MVP. Well, I will say that I think Tom Brady should be the MVP. If you're a Bucs fan and you've seen what we've witnessed for the last 20 years or whatever, clearly Tom Brady is the MVP to do what he has done. And it's just created this culture change, this effect within the organization that is just, it's unparalleled. So now that we've fallen pretty hard to the Saints, right? It just seems like they have our number, right? I don't know. I think we've lost like 7-8 games in a row, regular season games to the Saints. Like, it's stupid. But we've beat them when it counts, right? Last year in the playoffs. And I said this crazy thing last year to friends. I was like, look, I want to play the Saints in the playoffs. And people were like, why would you want to play the Saints? Like, we lost to them twice. And it was like, to beat Tom Brady 3 times in one season is ridiculous. I was actually more fearful of the Packers game because we pretty much handled the Packers last year at Raymond James Stadium. And then going to Lambeau, I was nervous about that game. And so for us to pull that game out, that was pretty big. But looking at the way that things line up for us heading into the playoffs, I'm okay with the offense looking as bad as it did. I mean, obviously we don't want to see that, but I'm okay with the offense looking that bad because that is going to fuel Tom Brady like nothing else will. And if he goes into the playoffs facing against an Aaron Rodgers who looks like will win the MVP, we don't really know yet, but I mean, this guy is playing lights out, right? I think that that's a positive for the Bucs, right? Anytime Tom Brady's an underdog, that's a positive for the Bucs. When Jordan lost the MVP race to Karl Malone, I'll never forget that year. And watching the Utah Jazz play against the Chicago Bulls, I kind of felt sorry for the Utah Jazz because, well, one, I really did like the Utah Jazz, and I was never a Bulls fan. I just loved Jordan. So I felt bad for the rest of the team because it was like, man, like, you guys really just, like, you don't realize what you did by giving Karl Malone the MVP when every year Michael Jordan's the MVP. I mean, let's just say it for real, all right? Saying that Tom Brady's not the MVP, having him shut out for the first time since, like, I think 2006. Like, now I did look back to the 2006 season because I was curious. I couldn't remember off the top of my head who won the Super Bowl that year. I believe that was the Steelers winning it that year. But it wasn't the Patriots. So how things turn out in the end, I don't know. All I do know is that the defense has been playing much better. Like for the last few weeks, we've seen the defense come to life. So I'm not really worried about the defense. Even with the injuries, we've played well. It's just the offense that kind of fell off this game. And prior to this game, the offense really didn't look too bad. I mean, we've had some off games, but clearly no shutouts, right? So going into the rest of this season, right? Let's look at their schedule real quick. So finishing off this season, we go to Carolina the day after Christmas. Then we're at the Jets and at home against the Panthers. That's a pretty good finish for us, right? I mean, we should win all three of those games, but division games, you just never know, right? The Panthers are definitely not going to come out and just lay down, right? They're going to play hard. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, going to New York in the cold, obviously Brady's fine with the cold, but the rest of the team, we'll see. But I like that, right? So these are basically 3 games prepping us for the playoffs, and you've got a Tom Brady now that's probably a little bit upset, and chances are will not win the MVP. I like our odds in the playoffs. I'm not worried about a bye, although it would have been nice. We'll see how this works out with our record at the end of the year. If they kind of take that last game off against the Panthers at home, I'm not really sure. I don't see that happening, but you never really know. So we'll see what happens. But what I am saying is please underestimate Tom Brady. Do that. I love it when people underestimate Tom Brady. And if you look at last season compared to this season, last season there was a lot of kind of questions. People didn't really know. Even the biggest Brady supporters were like, I don't know, man. It's the Bucs. We'll see. I know for sure I was questioning what was going to happen last season. I did not think we were going to win the Super Bowl. So going into this season, you had a lot more hype, a lot more people talking about, the Bucs this, the Bucs that. We had a lot of injuries on defense early on in the season. And then offensively, we've had some setbacks, Antonio Brown, that situation. But he'll be coming back. And I know that we lost Godwin and that hurts. But you bring in Le'Veon Bell now, we'll see what happens. You still have Mike Evans, you still have Antonio Brown. And Scotty Miller, to this point, really hasn't done much this season, but you just never know, right? You never know. You got Gronk, you've got other guys. Like, it's not like we don't have weapons. So underestimate Tom Brady, please. Of course, I am rocking the orange because, well, the Bucs got whooped up on Sunday. So after a loss, I rock orange just as a way to pay homage to the old days, right? Maybe you're young enough and you don't remember what those days were like, and if so, you're lucky. Although I do have a lot of fond memories from the old sombrero. So that's about all I got for this video. I just wanted to make a quick video and say, please underestimate him. Please do that. Underestimate the Bucs. Underestimate Tom Brady. And let's see what happens, because anything can happen. I still think the front runners right now, the Rams and the Packers, I think, are probably the 2 best teams in the NFC. But I will never bet against Brady. And then in the AFC, I think it's pretty wide open. Who knows? But we'll see. So until next time, I'm going to keep grinding. I'm going to keep moving forward. I will always trust the process. And I will talk to y'all later. I am out. Peace.